Well, Senator Sabi Abdullahi joins us now. He's Chairman, Senate Committee on Media and Publicity. You're welcome to Sunrise Daily.
Thank you very much, Magu. My pleasure to be here.
So the Senate finally rejected, was that the final nail on the coffin, final rejection of Mr. Magu yesterday?
Well, the Senate has done its job, and it's a process which started sometimes back, and of course, it was repeated again because the first time the Senate said it cannot proceed to confirm this nominee. And on the basis of that, of course, it was resubmitted. Having been renominated, of course, we went through the process again and asked the DSS. Because one thing Nigerians must know is that for everybody who is going to hold public office, it is a process, a norm, a practice that the security will provide some report on you. And for all of us who contested, you go through the DSS screening. And all nominees that are to get confirmation from the National Assembly, they also go through the same process. Now, in the first instance, if you recall, there are 4 other appointees or nominees of the commission alongside the chairman. And the DSS cleared the other people and then gave those information that constitute the 14 paragraphs on the chairmanship nominee.
Let me get this straight, Senator. Are you saying that aside the initial report that was written to the Senate, there was another report written by the DSS? Was there another report because of this particular screen?
Yeah, of course, because of this particular, because this is a renomination.
There was another report
so
again by the DSS?
On the basis of this, the Senate wrote to the DSS asking.
Again?
Again. And that report came back to us, the report from the DSS came back to us on the 14th of March.
This month?
Yeah.
Why did the Senate have to do that? Wasn't one security report sufficient?
The issue is, if we don't do that, we wanted to know if anything has changed. Because the first one they gave us indicated certain things. And of course, we also had to go back to them to ask, this candidate is back here with us. Can you give us a report on him?
Again?
Ours is to ask. And whatever they bring back to us, we will accept.
You don't think that it was a bit irregular in the sense that you raised the security report? I mean, you rejected him, first of all, based on the security report.
Yes.
The president said he had looked into that and had found him, not guilty of the allegations, that had been preferred against him. Well, it's not a court of law, but let's put it in that manner. And did you get that report, the answer to the query that the president, issued to Mr. Magu? Did you get the reply of Mr. Magu?
Apart from the letter explaining that he's resubmitting Mr. Magu's name to us, there was no any other information. And by practice and by our standard, we have to still go back to the DSS because this time around we're talking about security report. So whatever Mr. President says, he is sending this name to us. And we also have to ask the same institution that we have always asked to give us security report on nominees to do the same.
Well,
our expectation.
What was the report on? Because some people will say that the report would seem bordered along the lines of integrity, which has absolutely nothing to do with security.
Well, the issue is simple. They have given us this information and said that the second letter they wrote, which was on the 14th, they were saying, we have earlier sent you a report on the same nominee, and we stand by that report. So what that means to us is that nothing has changed. And we were not given any privilege of getting the responses he has given through the executive process of maybe the Mr. President's directive that the Attorney General should look into this matter. So we are not bound to, speculate. Ours is to work with what is before us. And what is before us is the DSS report saying that we stand by the earlier report we have written. And so on the basis of that, if you remember the first time, we just went straight ahead and said, look, this report is too damning. We're not going to proceed with this confirmation. And so we returned it back to Mr. President. Now, we were accused of not giving him fair hearing. This time around, we decided, despite saying that they stand by that particular report, and paragraph 14 of that report says clearly that he has failed integrity test. And integrity is a key component of somebody who is expected to be in that office to do that job. And they also stated clearly that he is going to constitute his liability to the anti-corruption drive. These are informations. Beyond that, what we did was to say, okay, fine, let him come and appear before the Senate. He appeared before the Senate, and the very first question by the Deputy Senate President was making reference to that DSS report. What we expected, and personally what I expected is, since you have given a written presentation, and the first time we rejected the nomination was on the basis of the DSS report, I had expected he would come in prepared to take each of those allegations and pieces them with his explanations. We didn't get this. And what he rather said was, he didn't know we were going to confront him with this same issue. And so he did not come with his written report. If I write a report, I should be able to at least go to the key issues on that report and be able to address them. And so I think at the end of the day, the Senate has done its job. And what is important here is that the Constitution says we should do a confirmation hearing where it is so stated, in this case, in accordance with the EFCC Act. The question remains, whether he does well, whether he does not do well. What is important is if Senator says we are rejecting it, I think they have that right also to say we are rejecting it.
You've dismissed him based on what you term an integrity test, even though quite a number of people will not be clear on what that test constituted in the first instance. They would say that his reputation and his integrity in the eyes of the Nigerian public is also at stake. Do you think that it would have been proper for you to at least find out why it is the president will represent his name, considering that this security report, nothing had changed with that security report,